My brother sent me a wedding shopping list, a Rolex, a down payment for his new house, and 10 grand in cash. I told him he was insane. He snapped, "Then don't bother showing up." So I didn't. That evening, when guests started asking why dinner hadn't been served, the caterer told them the reason. Every eye in the room turned toward my brother, and the celebration froze mid-laugh. "Then don't bother showing up," Caleb snapped, his voice cutting through the living room like a blade. Mom's wine glass clinked against the table, her hand trembling just enough to look performative. Dad stared at the TV, pretending he didn't hear. Lena sighed like she was tired of being the adult in the room, and I just stood there, holding the list. A Rolex, a down payment for his new house, $10,000 in cash. Wedding support, he'd called it. "Do you even hear yourself?" I asked quietly. He smirked. "You owe me, Adam. You owe all of us." The room fell into silence. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just folded the list and said, "If that's how you see it." Then Mom said the one thing that made my hands shake, not from anger, but from years of swallowing it. "Don't embarrass this family again, Adam." And just like that, I knew. I wasn't going to the wedding. "My name is Adam. I'm 26. I've been the quiet one my whole life, the one who fixes things, pays bills no one mentions, stays out of fights I didn't start. My name's Adam Hale, the one they call when something breaks, but never when something matters." Growing up in the Hale house meant one rule: don't make a scene. Caleb could crash a car and get a pat on the back for learning responsibility. Lena could drop out of college twice and still be finding herself. Me, I once forgot to wish Dad a happy birthday and got a month of silence. Silence. That's what I learned best. And silence, I discovered, can be weaponized. Mom, Margaret, the queen of guilt trips. Soft voice, sharp words. She could ruin your confidence and still make it sound like advice. Dad, Robert, ex-engineer, now retired into bitterness. His love came through scolding, his pride through silence. Caleb, the golden boy, loud, charming, reckless. Mom's pride, Dad's mirror image. Lena, the peacekeeper, until peace required effort. She smiled a lot, but her smiles always came after someone else's tears. And then there's Aunt Diane, Dad's sister, the only one who ever looked at me like she saw through the fog. That night, while everyone argued about my attitude, she just watched quietly, eyes steady, like she already knew what was coming. 3 nights before Caleb's wedding, I stopped by the house to drop off Mom's medication. The front door was unlocked and typical. I walked in on voices low but heated. "Does he know yet?" Mom asked. "Of course not," Caleb said. "He'd never agree." Dad's sigh was heavy. "He doesn't need to agree. The property's still in my name." I froze. Property? They were talking about the small rental house, the one I'd been paying mortgage and repairs on for 3 years after Dad forgot to make payments, the one I thought he'd eventually sign over to me. I didn't walk in. I didn't shout. I just listened. When I left, I realized my hands weren't shaking anymore. They were steady, and that scared me more than anger ever did. Wedding day. Everyone dressed in their finest. Caleb beaming, Mom glowing, Dad giving his stiff half-smile like this was a business meeting. My absence didn't go unnoticed. At 6 p.m., I got the first text. "Mom, where are you? People are asking." Then another. "Caleb, don't ruin this for me." I didn't reply. At 6:30, the caterer called. Turns out the payment hadn't gone through. Why? Because the funds were frozen. By 7, the caterer was announcing in front of 200 guests that dinner couldn't be served because the groom's payment account has been flagged for fraudulent transfers. Silence. Then whispers. Then stares. And in that silence, I could almost hear Mom's glass drop. A year ago, when Dad got sick, I drained my savings to keep their lights on. I didn't ask for thanks. I thought that's what family was for. Then I found out the truth. The medical bills weren't medical. Caleb had used Dad's account to cover his own debt, and they let me believe it was my father dying that took my money. That's when the silence started. Not the kind that hurts, but the kind that plans. So when the wedding mess unfolded, I didn't smile, didn't gloat. I just remembered how it felt to be the fool and decided I wouldn't be again. By the next morning, social media was full of photos, guests whispering, Caleb's fiancée crying, mom calling everyone liars. Dad showed up at my apartment. He didn't knock. He barged in. "What did you do, Adam?" I looked up from my laptop. "What did I do? Or what did you get caught doing?" He stared. For once, words failed him. "The rental house," I said. "The false transfers. The mortgage you pretended I was paying for you. You were setting me up to look like the thief." His face twitched. You don't understand how family works." "I do now," I said quietly. "It's just never worked for me." Then Aunt Diane walked in. She'd followed him, and she said something that froze the air. "Robert, tell him the truth. Tell him who really owns that house." Dad's silence was all the answer I needed. The truth spilled in pieces. Turns out that house wasn't Dad's. It was left to me in Grandma's will. They'd hidden the documents, forged some restructured ownership to make it look like his. "Why?" I asked. My voice cracked, not from anger, but disbelief. Mom said softly, "You wouldn't know what to do with responsibility, Adam. Caleb needed it more." I laughed, not a happy laugh, the kind that sounds like something breaking. Then I said it. "I gave you all my silence. Tonight, I give you the truth." And I laid it all out. Bank records, messages, signatures. "Every piece," Lena cried. Caleb screamed. Dad just stood there, pale. Mom whispered, "You ruined us." "No," I said. "You did that. I just stopped pretending." I didn't storm out. I just walked. Outside, the air was sharp, clean, the kind that smells like rain after a long drought. Aunt Diane caught up to me. "You could have burned them worse," she said. "I know." "Why didn't you?" "Because I'm done carrying them. That's enough fire for one lifetime." 2 days later, I transferred the property fully to my name, legally this time. I didn't flaunt it. I didn't post. Just a quiet line in my journal. Silence isn't weakness. It's waiting for the right moment. Months passed. Lena called once. She wanted to apologize. Her voice trembled. "I didn't know how bad it was, Adam." "I know," I said. "None of us did. That's how they kept it going." We talked. For the first time in years, it wasn't about blame. She told me Mom's drinking had gotten worse. Dad barely left the house. Caleb was working 2 jobs to pay back the debt. I didn't gloat. I just felt lighter. One night, standing in the doorway of my little house, my house, I realized I wasn't angry anymore. For the first time, I didn't feel small in my own story. I whispered into the dark. For the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore. If you were in my place, would you forgive them or walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. If Adam's story hit you somewhere deep, hit like for his silence that turned into strength. Share your thoughts. Maybe you've been the quiet one too. Subscribe for more stories that speak the truth we're told to swallow. Because sometimes, silence isn't peace. It's just the beginning of a storm that finally sets you free.